Hey, you all, may the good Lord bless you. Let's go out this evening and get some Joe Pye weed. An old Indian back in the early 19th century used Joe Pye weed, and it's called sweet Joe Pye weed or spotted Joe Pye weed. The village had a case of typhus, and he cured that whole village by giving them tea made from Joe Pye weed root and the leaves of Joe Pye weed. So let's go out there, you all, and I'm out of Joe Pye weed, and the reason I keep it is because Joe Pye weed is used for urinary tract incontinence, all kind of different things, and especially if you have an infection in your urinary tract. And if you've ever had one, and folks, everybody will get one or two of them in their lifetime. Some people constantly get them, but Joe Pye weed is one of the go-to roots here in the Appalachian Mountains to use for that. So I'm out of it. I'm going to take a ride out here in the woods. I'm going to take you guys along with me just to show you what it looks like and talk to you a little bit more about it. Thanks you guys for subscribing, you new subscribers. I really do thank you. I know some of you came over after you saw me on the other channel, and I think Justin Peden, Spirited Outdoors, recommended you come over to my other channel where I was preaching the Word of God. So I've came back to the old channel so that I can reach more people with the Word of God. So with that, you guys, let's go out into the woods and let's find some Joe Pye weed. Now, you all, for the past 50 years, that's a long time to be studying herbal remedies. And that's one of my passions. I like to study the herbs that God gave us to use. You know, you can read right there in the book of Genesis that God told Adam to eat the herbs. He said they're there for your meat. In other words, that's what your food is going to be. So for the last 50 years, I've been studying herbal remedies and using herbal remedies. Anybody who knows me now knows that. I'm not here to claim to be a doctor. I'm here as a person who has used God-given herbal remedies now for 50 years. And I know that they work. The ones that I use have anyway. So I'm still looking around here. I like to go out on the edges of wood line. You can see here I'm on the edges of an old road. And to get I can get Joe Pye weed right there in the backyard, you guys. But I'm close to the road right there, so what I like to do is come out here someplace where there's no road going by. That way, you know, you don't have any leads or stuff like that that will contaminate your roots. So I'm going to go on around through here and see what I can find. All right, you all, right there is Joe Pye. And since it's about to rain on my waterless proofer camera, I'm going to harvest some of it and we're going to take it back home because it's getting dark. And we will talk about it, okay? Okay, you guys, you hear that rain hitting the roof right there? I had to come on back out of the woods. I did find, you guys, some of this stuff right here. I did not harvest the root. I didn't have my good waterproof camera with me. I should have took it with me. But I'm going to show you what this looks like. You can see how this is just half the tall it is. See how tall your plant is? There's probably 3 foot of it still more over there in the edge of the woods. But you'll notice during when it really comes out to bloom, you guys, the bees will be all over this particular plant right here. Let me get in here a little bit closer to you so you can see this. All right. You can see how it blooms. See how these blooms are separated from one another? You guys can see that. Check this out. And then you got another section. You got another section, and the taller it gets, the more sections it has. Very beautiful plant. doesn't have hardly an odor to it at all. You can see that the leaves are in sections just like the flowers are. So you got the leaves here, then you come down here like 10 inches or 12 inches and you got more leaves. That's what it looks like. Now I will give you a close-up of this, you guys. Now the stalk, you guys, is hollow. And I heard, I don't know if this is the facts or not, but I heard that some of the natives would use them for a blowgun. So I'm going to knock the blooms off of this one. Sure enough, it's hollow all the way through. Okay. They probably used them for pipe stems more than anything else, I would say. But that is Joe Pye weed. Now, why is this an important plant? Like I said, Joe Pye, 19th century Caucasian Indian is what they said he was, cured his village of typhus by using the leaves off of this plant and the roots off of this plant. Now, this plant is really good for infections of the bladder. One other thing that they found out, just like when the men started using Viagra, men wouldn't give the Viagra back. So I don't have to tell you people what that means, okay? Viagra was causing men who had erectile dysfunction that would help with that dysfunction, okay? Viagra does. Well, guess what the Indians found out when they started using this plant right here? This plant right here started to be used for erectile dysfunction, okay? The root tea, the leaf tea. I'll give you a close-up, you guys. You can see how your flowers are segmented. Very, very beautiful plant. The leaves are the same way. Now what I'll do with the leaves, you all, is I will go ahead and hang it up down here tonight. I'll take them tomorrow and I'll put them in the dehydrator. I will dehydrate them and then I will have them to use. Now you can see it right there beside of the wild lettuce. I've already hung one of them up. Wild lettuce will be done there in a couple of days. Now that it's started raining, I'll be able to slow fire in that stove right there. All right, you all, that's Joe Pye weed. Urinary tract infections, sweating out all kind of infections out of the body. That's what this plant does, okay? That's what they used it for. So I like to keep that stuff in stock on hand because you just never know. You can even have an infection in your big toe like I've got one right now on the side of my big toe where I've got an ingrown toenail. I found that last night. I mean, I do, guys, miles and miles of walking, and my toe, I don't keep them old nasty toenails trimmed correctly, and sometimes you just get an infection in the side of your toe. But I've got that going the right way because I cut that out of there last night. I literally soaked it and then I took my knife and I cut that section out. So that's what I'm using it for at this particular time. But like I say, Joe Pye weed is a very, very good weed herb to use. But like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not being a doctor. I'm not telling you to go out here and gobble you up a handful of Joe Pye weed, okay? All I'm telling you is just telling you that this stuff has been used for centuries for those particular things. May the good Lord bless you. Have yourself a wonderful day.